What if everything you believe about this world is only part of the truth? What if Earth is not really our home, but a kind of prison? Across history there have been hidden writings, lost gospels, and forbidden spiritual texts that suggest something shocking. They claim that human beings are not free in this world. They claim that the soul is trapped here, living inside a system that was never meant to be permanent. Some even say that Earth is not just difficult, but a form of hell. Not a place of fire and demons, but a place of suffering, confusion, and spiritual amnesia. A place where souls forget who they really are. This idea is not new. It appears in ancient philosophies, early Christian writings, and mystical traditions across cultures. But one particular gospel, often called a banned or forgotten gospel, describes this world in a way that is deeply unsettling. It says that the material world is not the ultimate reality. It is a shadow, a veil, test, and those who become too attached to it remain trapped. Look around the world today. Everywhere you see suffering, poverty, greed, loneliness, depression. Even those who seem successful often feel empty inside. People are constantly chasing something. More money, more pleasure, more attention, more validation. But nothing ever feels like enough. This forgotten gospel says that is not an accident. It says that this world is designed to keep the soul distracted, to keep it busy, to keep it asleep. Because a sleeping soul does not try to escape. In this gospel, Earth is described as a place of spiritual forgetfulness. A place where humans forget their divine origin. A place where they begin to identify only with their body, their job, their pain, and their fear. When you forget who you truly are, you become easy to control. You begin to believe that this world is all there is. You begin to fear death instead of seeing it as a doorway. You begin to cling to things that do not last. This is how the prison works. The chains are not made of iron. They are made of beliefs. The gospel explains that long ago humanity was closer to divine truth. People understood that the soul came from something higher, something eternal. But over time that knowledge was lost, hidden, or distorted. Religion became about rules instead of awakening. Spirituality became about fear instead of freedom. The gospel was dangerous because it taught that salvation does not come from blind obedience. It comes from awareness, from remembering, from waking up. That is why some believe it was suppressed. If people realize they are more than their suffering, more than their social status, more than their physical body, they stop being easily controlled. They start asking deeper questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What happens after death? The forgotten gospel suggests that Earth is a training ground, a testing place, a spiritual classroom. Every challenge you face is not random. Every pain has meaning. Every hardship is designed to teach the soul something about itself. But many people never learn. They become trapped in anger, fear, jealousy, and desire. They live their entire lives reacting instead of awakening. And when death comes, the soul is still asleep. The gospel says that a sleeping soul returns to the same cycle again. Still trapped. Still confused. Still searching. So what is the way out? The gospel says it begins with knowing yourself. Not your name. Not your job. Not your personality. Your true self. The soul. The divine spark inside you. It teaches that when you observe your thoughts instead of being controlled by them, you weaken the chains. When you release attachment to material things, you weaken the chains. When you forgive, love, and seek truth, you weaken the chains. Every act of awareness brings you closer to freedom. The world wants you distracted. The soul wants you awake. The gospel uses stories and parables to explain this. It speaks of a man who built a beautiful house filled with treasures. He spent his entire life protecting it. But when death came, he realized none of it could follow him. He had built a cage instead of a home. Another story tells of people living in a city with no doors. They believed they were free because they had never seen anything else. But one person found a crack in the wall and saw the sky beyond. That one truth changed everything. The crack was awareness. The sky was the higher reality. This gospel does not teach hatred for the world. It teaches detachment. You can live here, love here, work here, and still not belong to this place. You can use the world without being owned by it. That is the difference between being a prisoner and being a traveler. Modern life makes this harder. Phones, media, money, status, noise. Everything pulls your attention outward. Very little pulls you inward. But the gospel says that the doorway to freedom is inside you. When you sit in silence, when you reflect, when you question, when you pray or meditate, that is when the soul remembers. You do not escape earth by running away. You escape by waking up, by no longer being controlled by fear, by no longer being driven only by desire, by choosing truth over comfort. The gospel says that when the soul fully awakens, death no longer has power over it, because it no longer belongs to the prison. It belongs to something higher, something eternal. This is why the message is so powerful and so dangerous. It does not make you afraid, it makes you free. So the next time life feels heavy, the next time the world feels cruel, the next time you wonder why things are the way they are, remember this. Maybe earth is not meant to be perfect. Maybe it is meant to wake you up. And maybe the true escape is not somewhere else. It is within you.